Now I know switching games can be dangerous for a small YouTube channel like mine, but the problem is I'm playing Oblivion now, so I can't really make magic card clips. Typically, I would just take a break since my channel's so small, but I found a gap in content, an opportunity you might say. See, everyone else is doing how-to videos, build guides, and what breaks the game the best. But what everyone else doesn't understand is how to win and have fun. So that's what this video will be about. How to make the most amount of fun out of this game. After watching this, I'd recommend you closing out of YouTube Oblivion clips altogether and never look back. Because there's many things you can do that simply break the game and make it too easy. This video will cover everything to make the game fun and is your first and last stop on Oblivion YouTube clips. Breaking the game. I suppose a certain number of you are just looking for tips on how to break the game, so I can cover that quickly just to get it out of the way, but don't worry, I'll keep it pretty brief. Basically, one way you can do it is get 100% chameleon, and what that does is it just turns the AI off during combat, making it super easy. If that seems fun to you, make a Ghost Walker type character. You know, I'm sure it'll be fun for a while, so give that a try. The next way is to get infinite mana. See, mana is power in this game, so if you get piles and piles of mana, you can make super duper crazy spells that do silly things. And this is actually a very fun way to play the game, and can reduce the amount of effort and grind that goes into getting strong and everything like that, so keep that in mind while watching this video. And the final way to be OP, I mean, just turn the difficulty to super easy. It's a single player game, and if you're planning on cheesing the mana or turning the AI off, why not play on little kid mode and optimize the power fantasy truly? Play as intended. But I know you're like me and you want to play the game as intended by Todd Howard. The first steps to do this is to explain what to expect at each difficulty and what the game will demand of the player. So first, let's go in order. We will briefly look at normal difficulty, and then we'll spend some time on reviewing what the game will demand of you on expert, and finally we'll go over the best ways to min-max your character and play on master. Going forward, this part of the video will admit most glitches in the game. However, we will be looking at one special potion, maybe two, that you might want to dupe for quality of life. If that really isn't your thing, you'll just lose a quick slot or two at the end of the game. Normal difficulty. Well, this is obviously the best way to play the game. Just grab whatever weapon you like, start swinging, no preparation needed, just go have some fun and crush some faces. Pick what class you want, what birth sign looks cool, grab an outfit from town that looks dope, get a weapon of any type, don't worry about repairs, simply grab a new weapon as you go. Change course mid-game, no problem. You were heavy armor before, now you're light armor. You were using a mace before, now you're a sneak archer, who cares? It's normal difficulty. If it gets too hard, you know, maybe drop the difficulty down a level, but like I said, this is the most fun you can have playing the game. Expert and master difficulty. But I know you're like me. You're sick, and everything must be a challenge. You want to understand the game and squeeze out what power you can. You want to lord the game over your friends and family that you play on master difficulty without any cheese. That's you and that's me. Well, the first step to understand how to play on expert, which is actually surprisingly more fun than on master and normal. Expert seems to require a big step up in power from normal difficulty. So if you're crushing everything on normal, don't expect to simply get one or two more pieces of Daedric armor and boom, switch over to expert, the game will be challenging again. No, the game might just be impossible. Instead, go watch my difficulty section again, drop some OP items on the ground, and just run away. Those items will despawn and you won't need to worry about normal being super easy. Alternatively, if you're playing on PC, look up a clip on how to install mods and get yourself the difficulty slider mod. It honestly fixes nearly everything this video is addressing, but if you're still stubborn like me, mods aren't an option, you want to play the vanilla Todd Howard experience, let's keep going. So you just can't help yourself. You need to overcome this challenge and play on expert and master. And honestly, it's pretty easy from here. Learn about potions, enchanting, or spell making, and boom. Done. Problem solved. Expert, no problem. Honestly, master as well. So we're kind of going to combine these next sections together. Expert potions. Power leveling alchemy is super easy and a great way to get strong. Now you can do like I did and earn it by fast traveling to each farm, harvesting, waiting 24 hours, and then moving to the next farm. Or you can look up a 2-minute video on how to dupe. Dupe 2 ingredients 10,000 times and spam create potions, all the while selling these potions to this chick at the Imperial Market. Either way you do it, now you're level 100 in potion making, and you have infinite money. The health and mana potions you make now are super strong and will help you in battle. These restore over time potions are super important because they're plentiful and they have a different effect than the ones that drop in the world. The crafted ones heal over time and are lighter, while the ones that drop in the world are burst healing effectively. Both are great, and using them together will increase your character's power substantially. Also, now that you're a master potion maker, you can make invisibility potions with ease that'll allow you to disengage combat when you get into a difficult situation or when you need to be sneaky AF. And that's it. Potion making an expert done. You're done, you're good, you can play an expert, close the video out, you're good to go from here. That should be it. Master potions. Okay, I get it. You want to push potions even further. Well, these are the super potions in the game. And you can Google other ones if you'd like, but these two seem to be the best and definitely worth duping. Here's the Restore Potion. It gives Feather, Restore Fatigue, Health, Mana, and it gives a shield. Just the best Restore Potion in the game. Use this ingredient called Bog Beacon Osco Cap, Flax Seed, Ham, and Sweet Cake. Now, I got a few of each ingredient and duped them all, so I don't have to worry about chain buying ham ever again. But I couldn't figure out how to dupe sweet cakes, funny enough. So you make a few of these potions, and then you dupe a bunch of them, and you're good to go. The reason I did that, rather than collecting ingredients and making Restore Magic and Restore Health, is I wanted to free up some quick slots. So I figured, save the quick slots, get the really good crazy potion. So here's the poison that's super OP. I don't use it myself because it seems a bit cheesy for me. Like, duping the Restore Potion seems fine, because Restore All is something I'd be crafting anyways, and it just takes up more quick slots. But if you do decide to go with this potion, maybe avoid using like enchanting and spell making altogether, just because this poison seems to be so strong. Anyways, here it is, the God Poison. Frost Salt, Harada, Milk Thistle, and Grapes. It gives a bunch of damage, it silences, and it paralyzes. Probably trivializing the game. I'm not really going to try it though. Expert Enchanting and Spell Making. But now you're like, oh, tips, woe is me, I'm still not doing enough effing damage. Okay, I get it. The enemy's HP is way too high. Let's increase your damage. The best way to ramp damage in this game is to use double weaken spells or enchantments, and combine it with elemental damage. This is no big secret, and any YouTube video will show you how to do this in any number of ways. So I'll show you how to do it with spell making, but the principles should stand with any enchants or poisons for like weapon users. Basically, you make a spell with fire, shock, and frost on it with low amounts and damage over time, maybe 3 to 5 seconds. This is the most mana efficient way to craft your spells and have good coverage for those enemies immune to certain types of damage. It's kind of a double whammy, so it's a no-brainer. When you make a spell, use fire, shock, and frost. Then you apply the weaken 100 of each fire, shock, and frost element to the spell as well, with a duration of say 10 seconds. Then finally, the last thing you apply to the spell is weaken 100 magic, with probably a duration of 10 seconds too. Now, putting these weakens on your spell is pretty inexpensive mana-wise, so you can also put the weaken in an area to sort of prime all of the enemies around you. Weaken doesn't seem to like aggro friendlies or anything like that, so this could be a good way to do it. I haven't tested it yet, but probably would recommend it at this point. So how does this work? Your first cast will apply the damage, it looks like, and then your second cast will be affected by the amp damage, and then your third cast will be applied by the double dip amp damage. So effectively, anyone in the game on any difficulty will die if you just use 3 spells on them. And that kind of seems to be the meta. I'm unsure of the actual application, and I haven't tested other damage layerings, but all the videos I've watched and all the comments in the YouTube sections and everything like that seems to put them in this order. If I did something wrong here, feel free to comment and I'll pin it below. Master Spell Making. So the last thing you may want to add to your arsenal to scale into the late game of Master difficulty is mana ramping using Restoration. More mana means higher damage spells. Now, you could simply skip all this BS and glitch your mana to obscene levels, but I like playing with limits. So in that spirit, this final level of difficulty, mana ramping. Using Restoration, we can fortify max mana, willpower, intelligence, and destruction by 100 for 120 seconds. But that spell's going to cost way too much. So start off with a max mana and willpower, maybe 75 of each for 30 seconds or something. As you get more mana, increase the time and the power and everything like that. So just for reference, right now I'm sitting at 3 buffing spells. One is for max mana and willpower, and that's the first one I cast. It's rated at 100 levels for 70 seconds. And then I have another spell which gives me 100 intellect for 70 seconds, which is a lot of mana. And then I have another spell that I don't always cast for ramp that's 100 destruction for 70 seconds. I like to cast all 3 as I'm battling, so I basically have infinite mana and I can take infinite number of enemies because my energy, my mana, regenerates so quickly. It'll be nice once I have more Oblivion gates closed and I've gotten even more mana so these spells can last longer, but this is kind of the end game of power scaling, because willpower and max mana kind of scale off of each other, and destruction scales off of mana and access to mana. So if you unlock mana ramp, you can build stronger and stronger spells. Min-maxing. A few other min-maxing notes are as follows. Pick Brenton, it's got magic res, it's got max mana. Pick the Mage Sign, it's got max mana. Get the Necromancer Amulet at level 25 or higher from the Arcane University quest for more mana. Get the Mundane Ring after level 22 from the main quest line for 50 magic resist and some absorb. Enchant your gear with plus 50 max mana after you're level 17 or higher from closing Oblivion gates. Basically, you save the game before you pick up the Sigil Stone, the final stone that closes the gate. Check your inventory. If it's a plus 50 mana enchant, keep it. If not, load the game and try again. You might need to do it 5 or 10 times. Quick slot recommendations. Here we are, the final part of the video. What to use for your 8 quick slots. We're cruising through. Well, our first quick slot obviously has to be our restore potions. Restore mana, restore health. If you duped the god potion, you'll be able to just use 1 slot here. Another slot should be used for your touch spell. This is the one we made in the expert crafting section. Maybe make a range damage spell, maybe AoE damage if you've got crazy mana. So your damage spells could be, between 1 and 3 spells or something like that. Now we consider our mana buffs. I currently have 3 mana buffs with a duration of only 70 seconds each. It can be tricky to manage all of them, but I'm a top level gamer, so I don't have a lot of problem with it. As you get more and more mana, you may only need 1 or 2 slots for that. Probably 2, let's be real. I also like to have a mobility buff for movement in combat and to traverse the world effectively. Use Fortify Athletics, Fortify Speed, Fortify Agility, and Fortify Fatigue for 20 or so seconds. As you get later in the game, maybe do it for like a minute. You'll be cruising around and it's super useful to have. And finally, the last thing I can think to add to your bar here is use a 3-second buff for Fortify pause screen effects, like Alchemy, Security, Mercantile, Armor, and Personality. And that's it. That's the video. If you like this content, be sure to comment something cool down below. If you have anything to add to the video, also comment. I'll make sure to heart it if it's worth reading. And if you're a millionaire considering giving a bunch of money to charity, but you don't really care about tax write-offs, just give it to me instead. Thanks for watching, guys.